It was April 14, 2018. The Oklahoma City Thunder were coming off of a regular season in which they went 48-34, which was good enough for the fourth seed in the Western Conference, and they were one day away from kicking off their first-round series against the fifth-seeded Utah Jazz. Heading into this series, the Thunder were the favorites to win, with the ESPN forecast giving them a 55% chance at advancing. After all, their team was built around two perennial stars in Russell Westbrook and Paul George, while the Jazz's team was built around rookie Donovan Mitchell. But before we get into the actual series, let's take a look at a clip that, at the time, seemed innocent but would end up haunting Paul George for years to come.
You guys faced them so early in the season that Andre was the guy who was primarily on Donovan for most of those possessions. I mean, is that something that you're going to take on, guarding Donovan for the Georgia possession?
Yeah, I'm used to it. I'm used to this. Y'all ain't met playoff P yet, huh?
Okay, so that was my next question. They say big-time players like big-time moments. What is playoff PG like?
Man, it's a fun guy to watch. You know? It's an out-of-body person where I just lock in and put myself into a different zone.
Now, in order to understand why George even had the confidence to dub himself Playoff P, we have to look back at his playoff success before 2018, during his Indiana Pacers days. And honestly, when you do look back, Paul George was a good playoff performer in those Pacers days. At the ages of 23 and 24, with no true star beside him, George led the Pacers to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals and pushed the LeBron-led Heat to 7 games in 2013 and 6 games in 2014. As for his individual performance, in 2013, George averaged 19.4 points per game on 47% shooting from the field and 44% from three. In 2014, he stepped it up even more, averaging 24 points per game on 45% shooting from the field and 38% from three. In addition, Paul George also gave us one of the most iconic playoff dunks of all time, posterizing Chris Anderson in Game 2 of the 2013 Conference Finals.
George got the step and stuffs one move and counts in the foul.
So, honestly, at the time of the interview, Paul George was overdue for a nickname. However, giving it to yourself and making it specific to the playoffs is just asking for trouble. And, unfortunately, things could not have gone worse for Paul George since he dubbed himself Playoff. In the series immediately following the infamous interview, George shot just 40% against the Utah Jazz, including a 2 for 16 shooting performance in a must-win Game 6. It also didn't help that there is a running theme throughout the series of Joe Ingles, one of the most average-looking people you will ever see, getting under George's skin and disrupting his game. So, it's safe to say that George's first series as Playoff P did not go to plan. However, regardless, he and the Thunder ran it back the next year and once again found themselves with home court advantage heading into the playoffs, this time facing the Portland Trail Blazers. When you look at George's numbers in this series, it doesn't seem like he played that bad. He averaged 28 points per game on 43% shooting from the field. Not as efficient as you'd like your MVP candidate to be, but not horrible. In fact, in a must-win Game 5, George had 36 points on 14 of 20 shooting, nearly willing the Thunder to victory. But, at the end of that game, Damian Lillard hit one of the clutchest shots in NBA history over George.
Lillard, long-range three.
I mean, that's a bad shot. I don't care what anybody says, that's a bad shot.
Paul decided to tell everyone that it was a bad shot. So, at this point, in 2 years as Playoff P, Paul George has 0 series wins and just 3 playoff wins. As for this year, I don't want to be too critical of him yet because it's only been 3 games and it appears that he will have a lot more to make it up. But, I will say that shooting 30% from the field against a defensive team as bad as the Mavericks does not look good on Playoff P's resume. Thank you guys for watching and subscribe for more content like this. Yes.